Um, it's amazing because one of the things that we music fans saw, especially we were talking about Missy, was that she featured with you, she featured on New Edition. We noticed she didn't have a record deal, and so naturally, when she did get the opportunity to sign with Elektra, she had a big production deal,
Hmm.
and I didn't. And so, did you recognize at those times that she had that much talent in it? Or when she first featured on your track, did you realize, wow, she's gonna go places? Or
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, hands down. Just simply because, like I said, there was other things that she let me hear, and just hearing that, she had, I believe at that time had started writing for Aaliyah, and there was other artists that she was doing things for, just from what she had said to me. And I was
yeah,
like, there's no doubt in my mind that she's going to be big. I like, hands down, I knew that she definitely was going places. Did I answer your question correctly? Were you referring to when I first started working with her at Elektra? I'm sorry, at with the things you do.
yeah. When you first came across, because it's sometimes people see athletes and say when they see them, say, wow, this person is going to be a superstar. Like someone see Michael Jordan in high
Yeah.
school and thinking they're going to go big. And because I do wonder, like, what did she have that that other artists or even yourself that might not have had for her career to propel in that way?
She was very unique, especially as a writer. And I
Okay.
mean, as fast as she could write. I'm sorry, I think I had taken this question another way. She was a fast writer.
Okay.
She's a she's a great vocal arranger, and she
Mm.
just has this ear. It's just phenomenal. Like, she knows a hit and she knows if it's not a hit. She's always, as long as I've known her, like, she has always been that way,
Yeah.
and it just was amazing to see someone in their craft, you know come together and just bring that to the table, and the time frame that she would do it at that. And then even her dancing, and just, it just was, she was on a whole nother level. Like, you just, it was is a breath of fresh air to the scene at the time.
Yeah.
So just to know that, whoa, you're working with someone that, okay, this is on another level, that they're going places. It just was phenomenal. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, working with Rodney, he as well is, it still is, of course, an awesome writer, producer, songwriter,
Yeah.
um, but Missy just, I like I said, when I worked with her, and or just would go with her in the studio, and then just saw how she worked, I'm like, and I had been in the studio, mind you, with other people and
Yeah.
other artists, but it was just like, she's incredible. She's freaking incredible. Just a true blessing to the industry.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
but then being new to the industry, what did you what much did you learn from her to try and add to your game to try and propel your career?
Okay. Your question is, what have I learned from her that I
No,
took to within
yeah,
myself?
yeah, especially back then, because if you see what she was doing and how it was progressing, because we've not been in the industry, so we don't know what it's like. And I know vocally, it's one thing to be a vocal powerhouse, but you
Mm-hmm.
also talked about the business side, and here she is writing, and I'm sure by now you might have understood about the publishings and how important it is to be the songwriter or having those extra credits and stuff. Did, what is it that you took from Missy to think, okay, how can I sharpen my game?
Well, at that time, it more so was, I saw how she would always say, publishing is how you eat. So
Okay.
it would, yeah. So it was more of like, well, Gina, you need to write more. So that's why, like I said, again, when that second album came around,
Mm,
I wrote most of that album, or should I say a great portion of it.
yeah.
So with that, I saw that writing is where it's at. But I mean, actually learned that with Rodney Jerkins as well, but it, like I said, but it more was in my frontal lobe as I began to work on that second album. So I
Mm,
would say it was the writing aspect, because you're able to feel it more within. If you can write it, you know, you can describe it, and you probably can feel it more, versus someone always writing your songs and you have to live with it and feel it. But when you're writing your own stuff, it's like, that's where it's at. That's home. And now I can see why Little Mo does that a lot. And I can see why a lot of artists do, because it's coming from you. You know, like when you wrote that, where you were coming from, you know exactly what was going on, what was the driving point. You know, you hear it and you know it because you've developed it from day one. So that's what I've learned. And I noticed that when she, you know, writes, she just be so zoned. She be so zoned out. And it, like I said, her creation is just phenomenal. And she'll tell you, it's just, she knows that she's blessed with that. It just comes within. Yeah. And she prefers to write her own stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I've interviewed Timmy Gatlin, who from Guy, and even Melvin Riley from Ready for the World, and they talk about, as writers, you know, the song just comes to the head, they write it, and it's like, that's it. It's not it's more of a gifting that you can't really teach. It's just, so I guess you can't say you can't, I'm going to try and be like a Missy, because that's her natural gifting that she probably has to be able to do stuff like that. By the time you were coming out with your first album on Elektra, had Missy dropped her solo album, or was she working on that?
I believe she was still working on it, but also on other projects, because like I said, I know she was doing some things with Nicole Ray. Yeah, she definitely, and I think Nicole, was on her album, her label. And she was doing some things with Nicole Ray, and like I said, she had a lot going on at that time, and yes, working on her own project. So again, I think that's why she kind of was like, you know, I'll stamp this and put my blessing here. But, you know, you and your manager, you know what I mean? Gina, you do you on this album. You feel yourself out. You do what you feel you didn't get that opportunity to do before, you know? And that's why I said I was able to carve out more of my writing. But at the same token, I kind of wish there still was, I had more of her there, but I got it. You know what I mean? And I said, I had to keep going. I was like, this is my second opportunity. I got to keep going. And then bam, I went through pretty much the whole scenario again. Got the album shelved. Heard they were shelving, you know, other artists. And on that label, it was Gerald, not who was being shelved. I'm sorry. My label mates. I know it was Busta Rhymes, Gerald Levert, Nicole Ray, you know, I can't even remember if Little Mo was on that label or not. I'm sorry. I don't even remember. Missy, you know, it was a lot of artists, you know.
Yeah. They had En Vogue was on Elektra, and they had Dawn Leave, just as they came out with the EV3, but I guess, you know, a lot of us we'd be looking at and thinking, was your A&R involved in helping you, making sure you had the right songs, production? Did you get the right type of producers who were really making the hits back in the, to make sure that at least the album, you know, if it's coming under Missy's Goldmind, had the ability to make I mean, was Sylvia Rhone involved? Did she not listen to what was happening, or?
Yeah, I mean, she was, but like I said, I know it was more of, I would say, hey, I would like to work with this person. And so then what would happen is I would just bring it to their attention. Okay, go ahead. So my manager at the time, he would just make the connections happen, get in touch with the people that I, you know, said I wanted to work with. And then it, you know, it kind of went from there. And then it was like they would hear the finished product and say that they would like it, you know, whatever. And then we kept it moving. And then all of a sudden, you know, I was told they put out Yada Yada, and then they weren't going to put out another single. Again, you hear rumors, you hear so many different things. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Again, you know, so Marilyn Bob was my A&R at Elektra. And he had said to me, he was like, if you want, we can even try to get you on another label, because they too apparently were folding, or whatever, however you want to call it, you know. merging, folding, whatever, but they weren't putting any more albums out. And I was like, I just can't win for losing. I don't know. And that's why I said to you, you know, that right there, that stole me right there. Like, because I put so much into that, you know, and and not to toot my own horn, but honestly speaking, that album, even to this day, if that album had got support, there's no doubt in my mind that that album was a good album. It was a really, really good album. And even to this day, I think that that album has some great potential. And you know, most people may say, well, most people would say that about their own product. But I truly, truly have to say it was a nice combination. You had a combination. So it was a variety with that album. I mean, like I said, Jazzy Jeff's Camp was on there. You know, Beanie Sigel was on there. I even had my cousin do like a nice hip hop track that Beanie Sigel did. So you having, I'm so sorry about that.
It's fine.
So sorry. So you're having all these flavors on there, and, you know, Missy, you know, and then, like I said, John B. and Montel Jordan's Camp. Like, yo, that album was really, really, it was heartfelt for real.
Yeah. What also is that? I know back in those days, if they don't make the physical copies, then, you know, that's it. But do you still have access to the album?
What, the reels? You mean the?
No, just I mean the songs that were all recorded and stuff. Do you still have copies, the digital versions of it that people could hear?
Absolutely not. Never got nothing. And the manager that I'm working with now is, you know, really trying hard. He and I have had a long, you know, talk, and he knows me. And he's working on some things. But even with the first album, I never got anything. I was told that, you know, the album had, I guess worldwide, at least worldwide, was gold, but I've never received nothing. I have no plaque. I have nothing negative. I don't have nothing. So, you know, like I said, you know, the manager that I'm working with now, we've talked about some things, and, you know, he's working on some things. So prayerfully, and even with this second album, I, you know, poured my heart out to him, you know, how I feel about, you know, a number of things, and he's seeing what he can work out. Okay. And so prayerfully, you know, I'll be able to at least get something to show what I've done, you know, besides just having the regular album. But yeah, it's like I said, you know, people will chew you up and think nothing about it. Yeah. But you got to have that tough skin. You really, really do. And you know what, I might have been a late bloomer with it, but like I said to my manager now, I know where my heart and my mind is right now, you know, and ultimately my hopes are not high, but my faith in God is. Yeah. So that's where I stand.
Yeah. But because I guess it's always strange, because I know back in those days they will have the CD and even the promo copies and stuff. At least those songs, have you been able to listen to them since then? I mean, on one of the others. Okay, you still have access to all the songs. Okay.
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. I mean, I still can. What I thought you were referring to was the actual reels, like
the masters. No, those ones. Okay. It's actually at least a copy of the CD. So okay.
Oh yeah, online, but like a physical copy, I don't have one.
Okay.
No, I did have one, but again, that's a story, part of my depression life where some things had happened. So it was almost like I just didn't want nothing to remind me of nothing. It was a moment I went through. Yeah. I just tried to erase that part of my life. I really, I really did. But I do have access to it online.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.
I begin to